Will the Bears ever do Hard Knocks? It has been desired by many, including me.
Okay.
And yesterday we got an announcement that the New York Giants are doing the first ever off-season version of Hard Knocks. And you, Anthony Herron, came in with a thought about that.
It strikes me as an opportunity the Bears could have seized on for all the apprehension that's apparently been there from Bears brass to take part in Hard Knocks during training camp, where Hard Knocks has historically been featured. And now in recent years, we've seen a regular season version of it also. So for the NFL to come together with a partner and actually say, we're going to do an off-season version of this. And there's not been a team in the National Football League that's been in the headlines, that's been more noteworthy, more news-making, of more interest than the Chicago Bears. And so to have an off-season version of Hard Knocks make its debut, it just seems like that should have been, certainly could have been something the Bears grabbed hold to. It's all right, we'll help the league out. This is our foray into Hard Knocks. You get the media market, you get the interest, you get Caleb Williams, you got all the sort of ascending pizzazz that's surrounding the Bears right now, and you can utilize that for this premiere of the off-season Hard Knocks, and apparently they did not.
So what's interesting is that this version of Hard Knocks begins the moment the previous season ended. The Giants senior vice president said in a press release that it begins the moment the previous season ended. We gave NFL Films unprecedented access to this critical time of year. We know viewers will gain insight from moments that have never been captured before and are excited for them to learn more about our Giants history. So how about that? So if it had been the Bears, you would have seen instantly their analysis of where they were with the number one pick. You would have seen all the stuff that we have been covering breathlessly, the Caleb Williams scouting, maybe the trip to Los Angeles and Birds. What was the place? Not Bird's Nest. What was the name of the place? The restaurant where they took Caleb. Okay. The schmancy L.A. place.
Something in Birds.
Birds and Streets.
Bird
Street. Street and Birds.
Bird Street.
Street and Smiths.
Street and Smiths.
Yeah. Beat Street.
Right.
Birds and Walensky.
Bird.
Electric Birdaloo.
Bird and water. It's that bird thing where it dips its head in the water. I think it was named after that. Bird Street. I believe it was Bird Street. I think you had it. But anyway, we could have seen all that.
Could have seen him like at dinner with DJ Moore and some of the vets during kind of the vetting process of Caleb. There's a lot of cool stuff
How
that's
about
been going on.
All the Kevin Warren stuff? Does he like a camera? I'm asking for a friend.
Mean, the stadium, all the intrigue of the stadium going on around
Kevin
here,
Warren
man.
planning press conferences and inviting only the chosen few.
Yeah.
The courting of Arlington Heights. The courting of the mayor. I mean, I don't know if they would have wanted all that stuff.
We'll build restrooms.
Yeah, we could have seen the decision to tell everybody about the restrooms they were
Could have
build.
whiteboarded the entire thing. Maybe there would have been graphic images, infographics on restrooms in stadiums. This could have been a lot.
What kind of graphic images? I mean, I'm for it.
I mean,
Livy Dunn?
Hey, I know you're for it. I think that to me is where the opportunity is missed by the Bears. How much do the Bears gain from Hard Knocks? Yeah, probably not that much, I suppose. But by comparison to the other potential Hard Knocks times and platforms where maybe they do it, during the training camp cycle, they've never seemed interested in it. Now, Kevin Warren's in place, so maybe the interest will be a bit different right now.
And this is what I'm running, because, look, what's interesting about the Giants doing it is that they have been one of those franchises very reluctant to do it. John Mara, the co-owner, made it clear to the New York Daily News. Mara?
When it's the daughters, it's Mara, but I think when it's the family, the NFL version, it's Mara.
I thought it was Mara.
It's like Kate Mara, Rooney Mara.
Rooney Mara?
Daughters, granddaughters.
Mara.
No, you've been saying hers. You say wrong. His, you say right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're the actor and actress guy.
I am.
You are more than anybody I know. You are.
It's my thing.
You've carved out a niche. All right, so Rooney Mara, John Mara.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mara.
So John Mara made it clear to the New York Daily News in 2010 that he had no interest in opening their doors. So much like the Steelers, that family business, and much like the McCaskies, this family business, the Giants haven't been into it.
The Rooneys, the Maras, the Hallises.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
So the Giants doing it is a concession of sorts. So here's the thing. Are we headed towards the Bears actually doing it this year? Is it possible that they didn't miss this opportunity, but they're going to take the opportunity of doing it when that one is announced later on this summer, that they will be the training camp and into the beginning of the regular season Hard Knocks, that finally the Bears will allow that access, because I think it would be freaking awesome. If the Giants are conceding, then why not the Bears?
I would find it surprising. I would not bet on it. I would bet against it. And that's where I feel like, whether it's a missed opportunity for the Bears or just for us as viewers, no, I don't. I'd be really surprised if that ended up being the case.
There are only 3 teams that can be forced to do it by the NFL, because the only teams that are viable, is if you haven't done it in the last 10 years, and if you don't have a first-year head coach, and you haven't made the playoffs in the last 2 years. So those teams are the ones that can be forced into doing it, and that's the Bears, the Saints, and the Broncos. But some other team could step up and see it as an opportunity that it is, and pick to do it.
Here's one thing that intrigues me with the Hard Knocks conversation is and part of where I parse it with, maybe it's more of a missed opportunity for us than the Bears, because I don't believe that the Bears are a franchise that necessarily gains a lot from going on a show like Hard Knocks, but neither do the Cowboys. But Jerry Jones has never been shy about putting his franchise on Hard Knocks.
Don't you think the Lions gained from it? Don't you think the Lions gained popularity from it? The Lions and
I see
Dan
the
Campbell?
Lions as being a bit different from the Bears in that regard.
For sure.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bears brand is the Bears brand. The Bears move the needle regardless, whereas the Lions now being seen in a positive light allows the Lions to move the needle more so than they have before. And you got Dan Campbell's personality and his comfort with just letting everybody in. So that's a different situation the Bears are in. But have the Lions gained from it? I think if the Lions were still a bad team, we wouldn't necessarily see it that they've gained anything from Hard Knocks. The Lions have gained from actually being better on the field. And then Hard Knocks is just sort of an ancillary thing that's been an ingredient in the last few years of how we perceive them.
I haven't made an appointment viewing in recent years.
Right.
I must admit, it was for a lot of years for me, but I haven't made an appointment viewing. But I would love, obviously, to watch it if it were the Bears. What would be more compelling if the Bears had done this off-season one, which would have started right after the season ended and would have had all the courting of Caleb like we're talking about? Would that have been more compelling than them being part of the standard one, which is still possible?
I would find the offseason more compelling for some of the reasons we were talking about a couple of minutes ago, and everything that could have been involved in that, the courting of Caleb, the evaluation of Caleb, the conversation about why they didn't really, vet other quarterbacks as closely, bringing people in to Haugh for in-person interviews, because this is viewed as a deep and talented quarterback class. So what was it specifically that set Caleb apart? A behind-the-scenes look at that and listening in on some of those conversations, I think would be thoroughly intriguing. And then, of course, some of the other things as well, like we're talking about with the stadium, with the city's reaction to it, a camera here looking at you and Danny discussing some of these joyless things about the stadium convo, everything that's kind of surrounded the team this offseason. The Bears have been a compelling storyline. That the local part of it with the stadium hasn't gotten the national buzz, but everything with Caleb and Justin and the franchise and Kevin Warren, there's been a lot of national buzz around the Bears that I feel like the offseason storyline could have been capitalized on even more so than what we'll witness in season.
I like national buzz. I like that guy. I mean, have you ever hung out with him, Tanny? I mean, I know you're a big fan of off-season buzz. That guy's a little more chill.
Yeah, he is. He's great, but he's often out-of-town stupid at times. So
Okay.
National buzz?
Yeah.
There he is.
But I love him nonetheless.
He's very lovable.
He's doing TV
Cuddly is how I describe him.
Our buddy National Buzz.